It's 7 o'clock. Good evening, this is National News on Fresh 107.9 FM Abeokuta. I'm Wale Bakari. First, the headlines. PTF and COVID-19 says vaccination of Nigerians will be free as Kwara announces new restrictions. IGP visits Katsina, vows to avoid repeat of Kankara occurrence. In sports, Eimba at risk of CAF Champions League elimination following first leg loss to Almerek. Stay tuned for details of this and more. And now the news in detail. The National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, says the COVID-19 vaccine will be administered to Nigerians free when vaccination begins. Dr. Aliyu made this known while appearing as a guest on a television program earlier today. He also revealed plans by the Nigerian government on delivering and administering the vaccine and gave the assurance that Nigerians will be freely vaccinated. He added that although there are fears that Nigerians may be reluctant to receive shots of the vaccines, efforts are being made to sensitize many and deliver the vaccines across the country.
A lot of work is going on behind the scene. The NPACDA have a committee. The minister himself has set up an expert advisory committee, and the PTF is now coming in to make sure that we coordinate effectively. And we have been linking up with the National Assembly as well. We were hoping that funds will be put up within the 2021 budget for the COVID-19 vaccine program, but we understand that it's a bit too late for that, and we have to go for a specific supplementary budget. The COVID-19 vaccine will be available in Nigeria. Making use of the Gavi arrangement, we already have assurance that we will have 20% of our population accommodated by Gavi. With regards to the vaccine, we don't need to pay for that, so about 40 million Nigerians or so. But we have to pay for the operation and the logistics associated with it. We are also planning to pay for an additional 20 to 40%. In general, over the next 2 years, we need at least 70% of the population vaccinated before we can actually be sure that we have enough herd immunity.
In the meantime, Kwara State government has imposed a partial lockdown in the state from 12 midnight to 4:30 a.m. with effect from Thursday, December 24th, 2020 till further notice. The State Commissioner for Health, Raji Razak, announced this today while addressing journalists in Ilorin, the state capital, and revealed new guidelines on COVID-19 in the state. Mr. Razak, who is also the vice chairman of the Technical Committee on COVID-19, said concerts, carnivals, clubs are not allowed until further notice, while worship centers are not to allow congregations exceeding 50% of the maximum capacity of the venue. Other measures and restrictions announced by the Commissioner include appropriate and mandatory use of face masks.
Appropriate use of face masks in public places is mandatory. Concerts, carnivals, clubbing are not allowed until further notice. Worship centers are not to allow congregations exceeding 50% of the maximum capacity of the venue. This is to allow for physical distancing. Other gatherings, formal and informal, exceeding 50 people are disallowed. Civil servants are to work from their homes. The only exceptions are essential workers, especially in the health sector. Virtual meetings are encouraged. There shall be partial statewide lockdown between 12 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. until further notice. Transporters are to enforce all COVID-19 protocols, including proper use of face masks by drivers and passengers. Appropriate sanctions will apply to defaulters. Security agencies will deploy all lawful means to enforce these protocols.
Away from the COVID-19 now, Ogun State Governor Dr. Abiodun has expressed his happiness and relief over the safe rescue of the over 300 students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State, captured by bandits more than a week ago. Expressing his joy in Abeokuta, the state capital, Governor Abiodun noted that the abduction of the students, apart from throwing the nation into a sad mood, had also created negative mentions in international media and a disservice to the admirable education policy of the Katsina state government. While describing the experience as iroyin, Governor Abiodun said the rescue of the boys is a testament to the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari and that of Governor Aminu Masari, as well as dedication and professionalism of the country's security agencies. The governor observed that the abduction has provided the nation a great opportunity to learn from the incident, which could inspire a number of initiatives to prevent a reoccurrence of the sad event, not only in Katsina State, but in all the states of the Federation. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, today visited Katsina State Police Command to meet with officers of the Nigeria Police Force. The IGP vowed that the abduction of the students from Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, will never happen again. Upon his visit, the police boss met with the tactical units, the area commanders, the DPOs, and commanders of Operation Pawfada in order to make sure that Katsina is made a crime-free environment. IGP Adamu, while describing the police as the lead agency in internal security in the country, revealed that it is the role of the police to maintain law and order, adding that for that reason, the police will never give any opportunity for criminals to thrive.
It was an unfortunate situation, and we have resolved that we should never allow such a thing to happen again in this state. And for us to do that, I felt I should come and re-strategize with the officers and men, especially the tactical units, the area commanders, the DPOs, and the commanders of Operation Fopada. What happened will never and should never happen again in this state. Internal security is the role of the police to maintain law and order, and police as an agency is the lead agency in internal security in this country. And for that reason, we should never give any opportunity for criminals to strike. Recently, we've seen acts of banditry moving from the epicenter that we used to know, and they are converging in Katsina State. And we have resolved not to allow that. And in planning not to allow that, we believe we need to strategize with other stakeholders, the citizens of the state, our cooperative partners like the Miet Allah and other law enforcement agencies, so that every nooks and crannies of the state are manned and not allow any space for these criminals to operate.
The National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has described reports of the purported breach of the National Identity Database as false. NIMC spokesperson Kayode Adegoke made this known in a statement today titled NIMC Data Not Breached. According to the statement, the Commission investigated the data breach claim and found out that the database scheme presented by the adversary does not tally with the existing scheme of the NIMC records. According to the NIMC, the data being posted by criminals purporting to contain citizens' information is fake. You've been listening to National News on Fresh 107.9 FM. Abeokuta. Still to come, ASU calls off 9-month-old industrial action and sports Aimba at risk of CAF Champions League elimination. Stay with Fresh 107.9 FM. Many thanks for staying with us. Moving on tonight, the federal government has declared Friday, December 25th, Monday, December 28th, 2020, and Friday, January 1st, 2021 as public holidays to mark the Christmas, Boxing Day, and New Year celebrations. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, announced this on behalf of the federal government in a statement by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Shuaib Belgore, today. The minister felicitated Christians and all Nigerians, both at home and abroad, on the Christmas and New Year celebrations, urging Christians to adopt the creed of Christ on faith, hope, and love. He noted that peace and security are critical factors needed to enable the government to accomplish its mission of revitalizing the economy, improving foreign direct investment, as well as generating employment opportunities for over 100 million Nigerian youths in the next 10 years. Aregbesola advised Nigerians and Christians in particular to adhere strictly to the COVID-19 protocols and guidelines as stipulated by relevant authorities during and after the Yuletide. The Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, has conditionally suspended its strike, ending an industrial action that started since March 2020. ASU National President Biodun Ogunyemi made the announcement today during a briefing of the union in Abuja, explaining that the development followed the agreement reached with the federal government and a meeting with its National Executive Council. He said the suspension of the strike takes effect from Thursday, December 24th, 2020. Professor Ogunyemi indicated that the union will resume the strike without notice if government fails to meet its own part of the bargain.
After diligent and careful appraisal of the various reports, especially the agreements reached by ASU with the federal government of Nigeria on the 22nd December 2020, NEC resolved as follows. A, to accept the agreements reached between ASU and the federal government on the 22nd December 2020. B, to consciously and diligently monitor the implementation of the FGN ASU agreements of 22nd December 2020 in all our branches. C, to ensure that no ASU member suffers any loss of the served benefits as a result of participation in the strike. D, to pursue fervently the areas in the FGN ASU agreement of 2009 and the MOA 2013 that require legislation such as the mainstreaming of EAA into the annual budget and the amendment of the executive bill in respect of the National Universities Commission Act 2004. NEC resolved that the current strike action by the union should be suspended conditionally with effect from 12 a.m. Thursday, 24th December 2020. However, should government fail to bid its own part, to fulfill its own part of the agreement, ASU will resume a suspended strike without any notice.
At least 6 persons have been killed and 30 buildings burnt following a fire incident involving a petrol tanker in Jeba, Moro local government area of Kwara State. The incident occurred today when a petrol tanker traveling through the ancient town lost control and spilled its content as it rammed into residential buildings. The accident resulted in an explosion that burnt down at least 30 houses and shops, killing up to 6 persons. The State Fire Service, in a swift response, however, brought the fire under control. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, in a statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary Rafiu Ajakaye, has commiserated with the families of those who lost their lives and properties in the fire incident, describing the development as devastating and sad. In sports tonight, Safeldin Maki bagged the hat-trick as Sudanese Almerek thrashed Nigeria's Eimba 3-0 in the first leg of their CAF Champions League first-round tie at the Al Hilal Stadium. In the game played this afternoon, Maki put the home team ahead in the 6th minute, turning the ball into the net after dribbling past Eimba goalkeeper Bassa Jerry. Eimba struggled to get going afterwards and conceded the second goal a minute before halftime, with Maki slotting home after a superb counter-attacking move. Eimba head coach Fatai Osho introduced the duo of Nabil Yaru and Tosin Omoyele after the interval, but the changes had little effect on the game. Maki put the game beyond the two-time champions when he netted the third on the dot of regulation time. The People's Elephant must overturn the deficit in the second leg to scale through into the next round of the CAF Champions League. Before we end the national news on Fresh 107.9 FM at Abeokuta, here's a recap of the main stories. We told you that the National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, has revealed that COVID-19 vaccine will be administered to Nigerians free when vaccination begins. We also told you that the IGP, Mohammed Adamu, has vowed that acts like the abduction of the students from Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, will never happen again. In sports, Eimba are facing elimination from the CAF Champions League following a 3-0 first leg loss to Almerek of Sudan. That's the national news on Fresh 107.9 FM at Abeokuta. The news was edited by Omoyemi Adesoye and Wale Bakari. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
From the rock city of Nigeria. Rock city of Nigeria. This is Fresh 107.9.
Ẹ káalẹ́ èyí níròyìn àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà tó ń dé sétí ìgbọ́yín láti iléeṣẹ́ rédíò ti Fresh 107.9 FM Abẹ́òkúta la ti ń ròyìn láti ẹnu Olúfẹ́mi Oyènẹ́kan kí ẹ tó gbọ́ròyìn náà lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ gbọ́ àwọn kókó inú rẹ̀. Ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe ààrẹ lórí COVID-19 sọ pé abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára COVID-19 yóò wà lárọ̀ọ́wọ́tó lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lófò gẹ́gẹ́ bíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ṣe kéde ìlànà tuntun. Ọ̀gá àgbà pátá fáwọn ọlọ́pàá ṣàbẹ̀wò sí ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina pẹ̀lú ìlérí pé ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó wáyé ní Kankara kò ní ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́. Èyí ń bá ti ń súnmọ́ bèbè àti digbádàgbọ̀n máa bọ̀ nílé láti ibi ìdíje CAF Champions League látàrí bí wọ́n ṣe pàdánù ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ àkọ́kọ́ sọ́wọ́ ikọ̀ Almerek. Wàyí o ẹ̀gbọ́ròyìn náà lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Olùdarí àgbà pátá fún ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe ààrẹ lórí COVID-19 dókítà Sani Aliyu sọ pé ọ̀fẹ́ làwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà yóò máa gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára ti COVID-19 nígbà tètò náà bá gbéra sọ. Oníṣègùn ìbò Aliyu Sani ló sọ èyí di mímọ̀ nígbà tó ń farahàn gẹ́gẹ́ bí àlejò lórí ètò iléeṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣàn kan lónìí. Bákan náà ló ṣípayá ìpinnu ìjọba orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà láti fáwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà lábẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára òun láìsàn tọ́rọ̀ tàbí sísè. Ó fi kún àlàyé rẹ̀ pé lótìítọ́ làwọn kan ń gbépò yí ẹnu pé ó ṣeéṣe káwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà máa lọ́ra ti padọ̀yìn láti gba abẹ́rẹ́ ọ̀hún, ṣùgbọ́n akitiyan ti ń lọ lọ́wọ́ láti ṣètò ìlanilọ́yẹ̀ tó gúnmọ́ fún gbogbo èèyàn lórí pàtàkì abẹ́rẹ́ náà. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ti kéde ìséde òun kónílégbélé onífẹ́rẹ́ jógí nípínlẹ̀ náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti aago 12 òru sí aago 4 àbọ̀ ìdájí láti ọjọ́bọ̀ láti ṣe ọjọ́ 24 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2020. Alábòjútó fẹ́tò ìlera Raji Razak ló kéde èyí nígbà tó ń bá wọn akọ̀ròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ nílùú Ìlọrin olúlu ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Bákan náà ló ṣípayá àwọn ìlànà tuntun nípínlẹ̀ náà. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Razak tó tún jẹ́ igbákejì alága ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe lórí COVID-19 sọ pé kò sí ààyè fún lílọ sílé ijó alẹ́, pátí alẹ́, kánífà àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ nígbà táwọn ibùdó ìjọsìn náà kò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣèsìn kọjá ìdá 50 nínú ọgọ́rùn-ún 50%. Lára àwọn ìlànà tí alábòjútó ń tún kéde rẹ̀ ní sísọ ìbomúbẹnu di dandan lówó orí ọ̀rọ̀yàn láṣọ òbora. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún ti ṣe àfihàn ìtura àti ìdùnnú látàrí ìtúsílẹ̀ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó lé lọ́ọ̀ọ́dúnrún nílé ẹ̀kọ́ ìjọba tó wà ní Kankara èyí táwọn ajínigbé kó ní papamọ́ra lọ́sẹ̀ mélòó kan sẹ́yìn. Nígbà tó ń fìdùnnú rẹ̀ hàn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀rín pùkẹ̀ lẹ́nu nílùú Abẹ́òkúta, gómìnà Abíọ́dún wòye pé yàtọ̀ sí pé ìjínigbé náà ń fi ará ìlú sínú ìlà ìlò, ó tún ń tàbùkù orúkọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lágbàáyé pẹ̀lú dídàbàrú ètò ẹ̀kọ́ nípínlẹ̀ Katsina. Nígbà tó ń ṣàpèjúwe ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí èyí tó bani lọ́kàn jẹ́, Abíọ́dún sọ pé ìtúsílẹ̀ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà láàyè àti láì farapa ó jẹ́ ẹ̀rí máa jẹ́mi nìṣó sí akitiyan olórí tó ṣàrà ọ̀tọ̀ àti ìṣàkóso tó pójú owó látọ̀dọ̀ ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari àti gómìnà Aminu Masari. Abíọ́dún wòye pé ìjínigbé ọ̀hún jẹ́ àǹfààní fọ́mọ elépo wa láti túngo rẹ̀ fọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìpèsè ọgbọ́n àtinúdá fún ètò ààbò tó jíire kírúfẹ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún bá máa wáyé mọ́ nípínlẹ̀ Katsina àti orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lápapọ̀. Ọ̀gá àgbà pátá fáwọn ọlọ́pàá nílẹ̀ wa Muhammed Adamu ṣàbẹ̀wò sí iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina lónìí láti fikùn lukùn pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Ọ̀gá àgbà pátá fáwọn ọlọ́pàá ṣèlérí pé irúfẹ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìjínigbé tó wáyé sáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ Kankara kò ní ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́. Lásìkò àbẹ̀wò ọ̀hún ó foríkorí pẹ̀lú àwọn olórí ẹ̀ka iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá, àwọn ọ̀gá àgbà, àwọn olórí lágọ̀ọ́ ọlọ́pàá àtàwọn èèkàn nínú ẹ̀ka tó wà fún ṣíṣí àwọn kọlọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹ̀dá nìyẹn ìyẹn Operation Puff Adder lójú ọ̀nà àti fọ ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina mọ́ kẹnẹwẹ́ kúrò lọ́wọ́ ìwà ọ̀daràn. Àjọ tó ń ṣe kò kárí fífúnni ní nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa ti ń ṣàpèjúwe ìròyìn kan tó ń jà ròyìn pé wọ́n rápálá wọ ojú òpó tó gbẹlẹgẹ́ èyí tó jẹ́ ti àjọ náà gẹ́gẹ́ bí irọ́ tó jìnnà sóòótọ́. Agbẹnusọ àjọ NIMC Káyọ̀dé Adékòkè ló sọ èyí di mímọ̀ nínú àtẹ̀jáde tó pe àkórí rẹ̀ ní pé kò sí ohun tó jọ pé àwọn alújìbìtì lórí ayélujára rọ́wọ́ tó àwọn ibi tó gbẹlẹgẹ́ lójú òpó ayélujára iléeṣẹ́ wa. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí àtẹ̀jáde náà ṣe sọ, ìwádìí àti àrídájú fi hàn pé àkọsílẹ̀ àwúrèbe tí wọ́n ń gbé kiri kò fi bì kankan jọra pẹ̀lú àkọsílẹ̀ àjọ NIMC. Ìròyìn àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà ló sì ń dé sétí ìgbọ̀yín láti iléeṣẹ́ rédíò ti Fresh 107.9 FM lábẹ́òkúta. Ìjọba àpapọ̀ ti kéde ọjọ́ Ẹtì ọ̀túnla ọjọ́ 25 oṣù kejìlá, ọjọ́ Ajé ọjọ́ 28 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2020 àti ọjọ́ Ẹtì tí í ṣe ọjọ́ kìíní oṣù kìíní ọdún 2021 gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìsinmi lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ fún ti ayẹyẹ Kérésìmesì, àyájọ́ fífi ẹ̀bùn tọrẹ Boxing Day àti ayẹyẹ ọdún tuntun. Alákòóso fọ́rọ̀ abẹ́lé Rauf Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá ló kéde èyí lórúkọ ìjọba àpapọ̀ nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan látọwọ́ akọ̀wé àgbà nílé iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ Dókítà Shuaib Begore. Alákòóso ọ̀hún fọ̀rọ̀ ìkíni kú ewu ọdún ṣọwọ́ sáwọn Kìrìsìtẹ́nì àti gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí àti òkè òkun fún ti Kérésìmesì àti ọdún tuntun, pẹ̀lú àrọwà sáwọn Kìrìsìtẹ́nì láti rọ̀ mọ́ òpó ẹ̀kọ́ tí Kristi ṣe àfihàn rẹ̀, èyí tí ṣe ìgbàgbọ́ tó yè kooro, ìrètí tí kò pinyẹ̀kẹ̀ àti ìfẹ́ tí kò ní àmúlùmálà. Ó wòye pé ètò ààbò tó fẹsẹ̀ dilẹ̀ mú àti àlàáfíà ni yóò jẹ́ kí àkọlé kan ìjọba fún àgbéǹde ètò ọrọ̀ ajé wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Ó wá rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ sáwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà papọ̀ láti tẹ̀lé àwọn ìlànà tó ń dènà ẹni lọ́wọ́ COVID-19. Ẹgbẹ́ àwọn olùkọ́ láwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga yunifásitì ASUU ti ṣe ìyanṣẹ́lódì ọlọ́jọ́ gbọọrọ tí wọ́n gùn lé lóṣù kẹta ọdún 2020 rọ̀ báyìí. Olórí àpapọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ASUU Bíọ́dún Ògúnyẹmí ló ṣe ìkéde pé àwọn ti fòpin sí ìyanṣẹ́lódì náà lásìkò tó ń bá wọn akọ̀ròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ nílùú Àbújá, pẹ̀lú àlàyé pé èyí jẹyọ látàrí bíjọba àpapọ̀ àti ẹgbẹ́ àwọn olùkọ́ ti ṣe forí okòó ṣọ̀ọ́dúnrún níbi ìpàdé àpapọ̀. Ó sọ pé ìyanṣẹ́lódì náà yóò kásẹ̀ kúrò ńlẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọjọ́ 24 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2020, pẹ̀lú títọ́ka sí pé àwọn kò ní í sọ̀sẹ̀ láti tún kọ́nságbami ìyanṣẹ́lódì lábàdì bíjọba bá kùnà láti ṣíkà àdéhùn tí wọ́n jọ fẹnu kò lé lórí. Ó kéré pin èèyàn 6 jáláìsí nígbà táwọn ilé tó ń lọ bí 30 jóná látàrí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìjàmbá iná tó wáyé láti pàṣẹ ọkọ̀ agbépo kan níjẹ̀bà ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà wáyé lónìí nígbà tí ọkọ̀ agbépo kan tó rìnrìn àjò pàdánù ìjánu rẹ̀ tí epo tó gbé kárí sì fọ́ká sí gbogbo àwọn ilé kan lágbègbè ọ̀hún, tó sì ṣokùnfà bí ilé tó ń lọ bí 30 àtàwọn ilé ìtajà ṣe jóná táwọn 6 sì pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn. Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ panápaná tó tètè tara ṣàṣà débẹ̀ láti bá wọn rè fẹ́rẹ́ kó má ba nǹkan jẹ́ kọjá bó ti yẹ. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara Abdulrahman Abdulrazak nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan tí akọ̀wé ìròyìn rẹ̀ Rafiu Àjàkáyé fọwọ́ sí bá ẹbí àwọn tó pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn àti dúkìá kẹ́dùn. Lẹ́ka eré ìdárayá, agbábọ́ọ̀lù Aramanda Saifeddin Maki gba àmì ayò oníbẹ̀ta wọlé sínú àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ikọ̀ Almerek ti Sudan ṣe lu ikọ̀ Enyimba torílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lálùbami pẹ̀lú àmì ayò 3-0 lábala àkọ́kọ́ ìdíje CAF Champions League ní pápá ìṣeré Al-Hilal. Níbi ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ tó wáyé lọ́sàn-án òní, Maki gba àmì ayò àkọ́kọ́ wọlé níṣẹ́jú 6 lẹ́yìn tó gé adílémú fún ikọ̀ Enyimba Basa Jerry ní gèégùgèé. Nínú pé ikọ̀ Enyimba ń gbìyànjú láti jà raburabu, làmì ayò kejì wọlé lókù ìṣẹ́jú kan kí abala àkọ́kọ́ ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ wá sópin. Olùkọ́ni Fatai Ọ̀ṣọ́ nínú akitiyan tún gbé Nabil Yaro àti Tosin Ọmọyẹlé wọlé bóyá ìyàtọ̀ yóò wà, ṣùgbọ́n èyí kò sọ pé kí agbábọ́ọ̀lù tó ń jẹ́ Maki ó má ju àmì ayò kẹta wọlé níṣẹ́jú 90 gẹ́rẹ́gẹ́. Ní báyìí ikọ̀ Enyimba nílò láti lù wọ́n tinú tẹ̀yìn kọjá 3 eléyìí lábala kejì kí wọ́n lè mórí bọ́ lọ sí pèlè tó kàn. Ẹ̀yìn yàrá kọ̀pẹ́ tó fowó ọ̀pẹ yàlé ń fowó ìpàdé ayé òun ọ̀run rajà ìpàdé ayé òun ọ̀run ni owó eléyìí tó làágùn kò tó rí báwo ló ti ná. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ẹgbọ́ kókó níròyìn náà. ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe ààrẹ lórí covid-19 sọ pé abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára òun yóò wà lárọ̀ọ́wọ́tó lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lófò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ṣe kéde ìlànà tuntun. Bákan náà làmúwá sétí ìgbọ̀nyìn wípé Ẹ̀yìnbá ti ń súnmọ́ bèbí àti di gbádàgbọ̀n máa bọ̀ nílé látàrí bí wọ́n ṣe fìdírẹmi níbi ìdíje CAF Champions League. Ọpẹ́ pàtàkì lọ́wọ́ Ọmọyẹmí Adésòye tó ṣe àkójọpọ̀ ròyìn náà. Èmi ni Olúfẹ́mi Oyènẹ́kan jẹ́ o.
Fresh FM Abẹ́òkúta 107.9. Fresh FM 107.9 Abẹ́òkúta.
Ìgbéjídé 2021 gbogbo